So, guys, thank you very much for everyone that we have here. There might be some people joining in, but let's start to say whatever we have to share here. It's going to be quick. Hopefully, we're not going to bore you too much with technical stuff. However, I think that what we're going to share it's really interesting and might save you in more than one situation. So, for introduction, I am Piotr Ferens. I am the co-owner and creator of Fastlane Consulting. And what we do here is we help the companies, especially within construction and retail sectors, to get on SAP S/4HANA and be more efficient with SAP solutions. And we also have here with us the big dragon, Paul. Paul, please introduce yourself.
Hi guys, Paul Byrne from Dragon-ERP. We not only say it, but we live it. We say less consulting puff and more delivery firepower. This is because many consultants, not consultants, consultancies talk too much of high level that the business doesn't understand. We're very concerned that we should, the language of the business all the time, understand what the business is doing. With SAP itself, it can be confusing. The most common thing I hear is that, oh, our business is special. I'm sure you all heard this, right? Yes, your business is special. Everybody's business is special. But it doesn't mean you need to over customize the system. Yes, you're going to do, local configuration for your local region. Now, when I say that, I'm also not saying that we should go for clean core, because a clean core that SAP are pushing, while it's a great idea, you've also got to look and say, who owns the RICEFs, the RICEFWs? And we say the business owns the RICEFWs. The example there is if I won't ask everybody, but look at what mobile telephone you're using today. And I say maybe Android or iPhone or whatever. If I was to give you a BlackBerry with the physical keys on it, you'd probably throw it in the trash. It was a good phone of its time, but you'd be jumping back in years. By taking the RICEFWs away from your business, you're taking the tools away from them and forcing them to use a standard process, which, while very good, is not the change management that you have to do, can be too much. If you're going from ECC to S/4HANA, there's a big challenge with change management already, because everybody remembers the 10 or 15 or 20 T codes that you used to use. Now you've got your Fiori tiles, and if the Fiori tiles are set up correctly, it will be based upon your authorizations. So, in short, you need change management, and you need to adopt the best practices in S/4HANA if they suit your business, not adapt SAP to your current practices, because then you're only going to have the same as you had today on a shiny new box, and you waste a lot of money. Makes sense, Peter?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that we could say this is from the 4 points we're going to touch today, or 4 main points, challenges that we face or we can face. That would be the first one for today. And seeing the bigger picture as a company and really treating the evolution within the technology and the system you implement from the business perspective, not only from the IT perspective, is really crucial. So the business to thrive needs to be nimble, to say so, and it needs to adapt. And as well, we need to be adapting our systems to new realities. And saying Paul is to do just that, to not be with a boxed head, open the head as a company and look further to what's really needed for the company system-wise and adapt to the new technologies, right?
Well, can I add to that?
Absolutely.
SAP is not an IT system. It's a business system. It's a business tool. Yes, it has got technical dependencies. Yes, you need the technical infrastructure, if that's IaaS or PaaS or SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. You need those, and you need the really good people who can set those up. Yes, you need the technical consultants to do the ABAPing. Yes, you need the basis people to set up the systems, whether they're client copies or whatever. Yes, you need the functional people to understand the business. Now, again, there's the differentiation. The functional people will need to understand the business and speak the language of the business. There's the really important part. Now, so there's a big challenge that happens when you've got with a system integrator. If anybody's working with a system integration partner, working for a system integration partner, our consultants themselves, you've got to remember that when you're going into a client, the client has got their business as usual to run, right? They've got to keep getting, if they're a manufacturer, they've got to keep getting product out the door, trucks moving, if it's manufacturing production planning, their MRP, their inventory, their warehouse. They cannot be away from their business for 3 years for what it can take to implement a full greenfield S4 implementation. We work with a company called a partner called LeapGrade. We can reduce the time to deliver an S4HANA greenfield from, let's use the number of 3 years, we call it 2 years even. We can reduce it, and we can get you a system within 7 and 10 days. Now that sounds fantastic. It's not the end system that you will use, because, again, using the example, right? We arrive on site for a customer to help them and implement. They've decided for SAP and S4HANA. The people are busy running the business. They're busy getting things boxed up in a warehouse, out of a warehouse. Let's say, even if it's a FMCG food product, right? Even more urgent. They've got to get it out the door faster. They're busy doing that. And you've got everybody arriving in business suits and PowerPoint presentations and Excels and fit gap or fit to standard workshops. Their priority is to continue running the business. The SI, system integration partner, business as usual, is implementing SAP, right? So they're running at the speed, but the business is running at auto speed over here, keeping their business going, keeping the lights on, right? So what then tends to happen as the SI is running, the business can't keep up, the relationship falls down, and it's blaming. And they're not, they're paying a lot of money and they're not seeing anything tangible. They see lots of emails, they see lots of PowerPoints, they see lots of invitations to workshops, and they're trying to juggle. The business don't understand that, why can't you do your day job and do this SAP at the same time. I had one perfect example a few years back. One guy, he was already working crazy hours. He was running the warehouse operations, not physically because of the warehouse team. He was supporting it from a technical point of view. He was managing the inventory. He was managing the data. And he was absolutely necessary on the project because we needed to understand the data. We needed to understand the warehouse management processes. And it would have really meant that he would have been on site 24 hours a day for more than a year. Now, nobody can physically do that until you get the management and the ownership. And it's a very strong point, I would say, that ownership. They understand that we need to release some people and the best people in the organization to implement your ERP. And I say ERP because it will be the same with any ERP, because we're setting the business up for the next 10 to 15 years with an ERP system. So releasing the people, but now we're looking at reducing the timeline of the S4 implementation, because again, remember, right, these people are busy running the business and we're all in here setting up the system. The first time the business see the potential future system is at the realize phase, right? And then they become interested because they've got something they can touch on a keyboard, they can feel, they can see it, and that's what our future looks like. But they're not interested back in, prepare and explore phases because they see nothing, right? So now there's a bigger challenge. When you give them a system at realize phase, they're like, we absolutely need that product. We need this product. We need that functionality. Our business is special. Now you're getting new requirements in. But when you're coming out of, or still in realize phase, going into SIT testing, UAT testing, and the business is going, no, stop. We absolutely need these new requirements. And they're not new requirements because these people have not been in place in the right room at the right time. Now you're looking at the project going on hold, maybe a restart. And that's not good for anybody because people are now they're angry, and the CFO is angry because he or she is paying much more money. There's change controls going in. The SI is saying, oh, don't worry, we'll bring in more functional consultants, more technical consultants, but you're not matching them off one-to-one with business people. So the SI is running at a speed and the business is running at the speed, but running its business. They don't have the time. So now it follows to the next point is when I'm back is the ownership. Yep. There's no point in having the stakeholders needs to own this whole. IT doesn't own it. It's a business program. So they've got to own it. They've got to be in, and we call it the technical design authority. It might not be technical decisions. There may be business decisions that need to be made. You have to have the right people in the room at the right time to make the decisions that impact their line of business and make the right decisions. And those right decisions can be made with the help of the functional consultants. You're no point to have a program director or program manager in there, great person that they are. They don't understand all the idiosyncrasies of the system, what it can do. Yeah.
Peter. That's absolutely correct and absolutely right. So the key point from this part that I think I would like you guys to take out. Also, if you have any questions, please write in the chat and we will be answering, no problem at all, of course. But what I would like you to take into account for all the projects in your future is that we need to have, of course, clear planning, such a cliche, but planning that it's real. We need to have the stakeholders involved, as Paul says, and having them engaged. So giving them like an MVP, what you're doing, for example, with Live Great. Um, I would call it an MVP, but it is really a working system that you also then build on. You can show them from the very beginning how the system would look. And even if you use any other technologies, not the Liquid solution, I would argue that it's important or very useful to give to the customer a working system or test system as soon as possible, so they can work on it and they can see it, so they can be engaged.
So can I challenge you a little bit on that?
Yeah,
I personally hate the idea of the MVP, minimal viable product, because nobody ever wanted a minimal viable product. You
that's
go to
right.
the supermarket to buy bread, it doesn't mean you're going to accept any bread. You want to have your ciabatta, you want to have your wrap, you want to have your wholemeal bread, you want to have your burger bun for your barbecue or something like that. If you're going to come with white toasting bread, your guests on your barbecue are not going to be happy, right? If you're we want your bread with some olive oil on it, for your soup or whatever in the day, bread is not bread is not bread. Yeah. So minimal viable product. Nobody ever asked for a minimal viable product. They accept it, but it's not what you ever wanted. You know, I always guess what someone's gonna get me for Christmas. Oh, no, well, I won't say I'm always disappointed. I always get socks, right? What do you get for a guy? Socks, right? Boring as hell.
Absolutely.
But it's functional. It worked. That's a minimal viable product, right? Um, okay, you can go and get colored socks and party socks and whatever, but they do the job. Uh, and when I need a clean pair of socks, I know I got lots of socks. But are they the socks I want? And today I'm in the west of Ireland. It's it's cold. I need like thick socks. No point having, ankle socks or the hidden sock. You get my point.
Yep.
Minimal viable product is not is we should go for. Let me change that around a bit. You're not going for world class. You're not going for best in class. You're going for good enough for now for the business. They should have the minimum functionality that they had in the. I'm pushing back against saying legacy system, because ECC is not a legacy system. It's an still supported operating system. And I don't care what anybody says, but at the end of 2025, it's not going to stop working. At the end of 2027, it's not going to stop working. At the end of 2030, it's not going to stop working. At those dates, depending on which enhancement pack you've got, you will not be supported. You will have to get a extended support, extended maintenance to carry on with using the product. But the physical product is not going to stop working on those dates.
I have an interesting thought on that, because yes, it will be working, but don't you think that many businesses will jump to have it as for HANA or even other systems than SAP, but will take a leap towards new systems due to business needs, all the AI things, etc. I think that it will push businesses to make a decision, because they need to maintain also their competencies and like being competent and being competitive in the market. And we want it or not, the technology enhances it. So I think that there will be many businesses that could stay with ECC, for example, but they might jump more because of the business need than the technical need.
Great point. So first is you need the business case. And SAP or I can give you, or any of us can give a good business case, but that's a vanilla business case. And that business case generally starts off with something like, ECC is a 20-year-old system, and you need the newest, latest technology. No, you don't. ECC was released in 2005. ECC 6 was released in 2005. And it has been updated regularly with enhancement packs. So if you're using enhancement pack 8, you've got the latest version. Now, jump onto the AI, jump onto the latest functionality. I always use this as an example. It may or may not be a good example. Please stop me if you think it's not. If you sat down today with Microsoft Office 97, I can promise you until the day you leave this earth, you will not use all of the functionality that's in Office 97, right? That's a what, almost 30-year-old product, 28-year-old product. So getting the latest innovations, are you ready for them? Is your business ready for them? Are you able for them? Can you consume them? With AI, people are using a business case with AI that maybe in their own mind that AI will help me to reduce headcount. But if they've already been operating lean for let's say since the financial crisis in 2008 to 2012, right?
Yep.
People got let go. In 2022, 23, 24, people got let go, redundant. So the business is already operating on a skeleton staff, and some management guy is thinking, all right, I'll implement AI and I'll be able to reduce the headcount even further. Peter, can I ask a question? You drive a car?
Yeah.
Did somebody show you how to drive a car? Teach you?
Of course.
Yeah. And then through practice, you got better and better, hopefully. But this is where someone needs to show you, and this is about training, but it's also about continuous training and continuous learning and continuous improvement. How to you get your training on how to use SAP, and then you've got all the new toys in the box to use on day one, but you're not going to remember them all. So you need continuous training and continuous improvement, and go, well, what new innovations are available in the latest version of S4? Let's say you're on public or private cloud or still on premise. What new innovations can we use? Remember, you can put AI onto ECC. You can put AI onto on-premise. Organizations won't tell you that, oh no, you'll never get AI working there. Whatever version of AI, whatever name of that AI agent is. You've also now got to look at the guardrails that are around AI. We've seen with DeepSeek in the last week. And the other one, I don't remember the name of it. It came from, I'm going to get it wrong, hopefully not, from Alibaba. So I don't want to be negative about any organization, but one such organization said more than a week ago that the owner, that we all know his name, allowed the AI team to use their LLM on copyrighted documents. Let me put that into perspective for you. Peter, if you write a book today and you don't give permission for the AI, for the LLM to scrape your book, at this point it can still look at the front cover. It can look at the inside front leaf about Peter. It can read the back blurb about your book. It can go onto the internet and read all of the reviews about the book, but it's not what's in the book. So if you haven't given permission to do that, the AI will come up with a wrong story about what the book is about because
That's
it's
correct.
getting summaries around. But if you give the AI and the LLMs, the different LLMs, permission to scrape your book, you can lose a lot of revenue because you're not going to sell the books
Hmm.
because it's all there free for everybody. So it's I'm very, very interested in AI. It's a very, very powerful tool. But then you look on the negative sides. It needs bigger data centers, more compute power, more water, more electricity. Uh, uh, it's also looking at quantum computing potentially that will be able to get the best out of AI. What happens to our 1.5 degree climate for climate change?
Yeah,
Call it global warming.
there's absolutely many things to take into account. Um, However, just looking at it from the business perspective, um, and let's stick to the bright side because of course there's a negative side, and we could be talking also on that for a couple of days, and I hope we will at some point. Um, but in the bright side, that I think it not only helps us to be more productive in many ways, and however, I don't think it will reduce significantly the headcount in tech companies. Of course, it will learn how to code. However, in my experience, a good developer, it's like it's valued in gold. And no way I will replace a really good developer that understands the consultant's language also, which is half business, half tech. Um, However, I think the AI solutions can help us be more productive and be more precise in many ways if trained correctly, of course. That's why um, I wouldn't give, I don't know, my business, let's say, I wouldn't connect my business openly to one of the biggest American solutions because it gives the data to all the others. And I think that companies, if they want to use AI correctly, they should have their own agents on their own servers and have them learned out there on the data so it's secure, right? Um, let's
Can I
maybe
just
continue.
if I just
Absolutely.
add to that a little bit, right?
Yeah.
About sharing the data and the logic. Tiny little side step there for a minute. I had to look up something on uh, uh, consignment stock a little while ago. I looked up on one of the AI agents, came up with a real. I just wanted a little bit more detail uh, rather than picking up the book. It gave me a very good example of it. But when it comes to sharing it with other LLMs and your IP, your intellectual property in your organization, are you going to give your grandmother's recipe for baking bread, the lovely bread you used to make, right, to the internet? Maybe if you're such a great guy, you will. But it's the same thing. Your secret sauce from your organization, and this is what we say at Dragon-ERP. We're like, the future is looking like caged AI, caged as in your own organization within the walls. What you just said,
Yeah.
uh, the agents on your own servers looking at your data because your data is the oil, the gold. On top of what you said is the functional and the technical consultants, they're worth their weight in gold because if they can, we all like to tease and joke and laugh that functional consultant and a technical consultant they can never talk to each other because they'll be fighting because they don't understand everything, and the basis guys, they're just the guys who put in the dark room and leave them there, right? Because they only keep the system going. But it's we need everybody, and your people. People are your strongest part to understand uh, the business problem. The functional consultants understand it. The technical consultants will code around that to make sure the problem is understood properly technically and implemented into a transport so the basis guys can transport it into production. Human
That's correct.
beings, we actually very often overcomplicate things.
Absolutely, absolutely. And this would be the second point of what we wanted to share with you guys today, is that to avoid many disasters, what you need is a really good team, which is, in my experience, it's both easier and more complicated to build than it appears. Um, and what I like to call it is that you need like a group of Spartans with you, like warriors, that go with you and you go with them. And if you're managing the project, for example, you're like a general, like in Gladiator movie, no, Russell Crowe, and you need to be there for your people, and it needs to work like a, let's say, like a machine, that everybody is for everybody, and that's quite complex. But one of the rules that I think helps a lot, especially within the team, within your company. When you talk to the customer, it's different because you need to be more politically correct. But within the organization, and Paul, you'll correct me if you think differently. I think that the rule of no bullshit should apply. Pardon my language.
100%. No, but it's the no BS, good idea, but as a step before that, which is if you're working with multiple people from multiple different organizations for whatever reason, you're going to need partner companies, your suppliers, whatever. What you spoke about a minute ago, Peter, was you said management, but actually that's leadership, right?
Yeah,
So the manager will say, do it. The leader will say, let's do it,
that's correct.
right? And the leader should also, I'm not very big on political correctness. I'm polite and friendly to everybody, but everyone needs to step up and do this hard job. And it's coming like to forming, storming, norming, performing of your team. And that to do that, you've got to leave your badge and your logo at the door and your ego at the door, and have grown up conversations. Uh, Having an open culture in the organization. Peter goes, I'm not 100% sure about that fix. Let me talk to Paul. And you know that Paul's going to come to you with an honest, open review. Go, yeah, I tried that. It didn't work. Absolutely, Alexander. There should be an orchestration, an orchestra. The program manager, program director, project manager is there uh, to conduct the orchestra to deliver, and to maybe a bit of a rough statement here, to rip somebody a new one if they are not correct, but it's not personal. Like, hey, Peter, I need you to step up a little bit here. And Peter's going, yeah, I really want to, but I've got another boss, and I'm in a matrix management organization, and I've got now 3 bosses, and 3 people give me different priorities. What do I do? Hey, give it to me. I'll speak to all your 3 bosses and go, get off his back. He's mine. I need him to do this job. And he said, no, you can't have him. Okay, then the project will be late. Do you want to speak to my boss and tell him the project's going to be late and it's going to cost you an extra €1,000,000? Oh, are you going to pay for the extra cost for the extra consultants that we need? You bring it home to people there is a cost implication of every extra day this thing, but of it doesn't go live. There's a perception out there that SAP projects fail. They don't fail. They may not deliver the business benefits that were set out in the original proposal, which that is a failure. But you press that big power button, they on the server, it's going to come on. The SAP is going to spin up. It's going to be ready.
Yep.
Is the business going to be ready? Have the people been trained? Has it been tested? Has it been localized, customization, configured? Sorry, not customization, configured for the localizations for every country that it's gone into. And I'm pushing back against the whole clean core thing. While it's a great idea, you have to customize as much and as little as necessary, but each organization is going to need some customizations. Now that pushes you back to the point of going, which version of SAP you pick, because you never start the program with choosing technology or getting the IT team to run the program. Again, as a business program, you should start the program with vision. What's the vision of the organization? You're here now, right? Where do you need to get to? So 3-year, your 5-year plan. Now, if we did a 3-year or 5-year plan in 2019 and COVID came along, okay, so it didn't get delivered by mid 2022. Your vision is still there. It's just going to be later because the world changed. And then there was supply chain problems with ships getting stuck in the Suez Canal. So other supply chains problems because ships were in the wrong place. They had to, a lot of the ships, the container ships, are crewed by Filipino people. They all got flown home. The product was in China. The ships were somewhere else. The people were somewhere else. They were saying it could take up to 3 years to get everything back to normal. So supply chain problems, people in the wrong place. Amateurs think strategy, professionals think supply chain.
Nice saying. I like that.
I maybe have the quote slightly wrong, but I think it's like, how do I get that to the customer? And if that doesn't make sense to anybody, the next time you order something online, check yourself and go, as soon as you pay with your card, you're waiting for delivery. You're looking at the email. You're doing the tracking of the package tracking. You're checking, every couple of hours because you've got the anticipation you want to get it. Some group of geniuses are trying to figure out how to get it to your home.
And it's not that easy as it seems to you when you're buying it.
Yeah, you're a click away, and then you get unhappy because it arrives a day late. So
that's right.
That's where the professionals thinks supply chain.
That's right. Okay, let's skip to the let's continue, but let's step to the next point. So we've got the planning, the product, the early. Oh, sorry, I forgot the word. The early delivery, to say so, that might be very useful of something working for the customer to keep them engaged. And we've got the people, which is the core of each company. If anyone at any company thinks they can build things only with technology or just by themselves, they're really very wrong. People are always the core of each organization, want it or not. It's like this. So building a great team and trying to be always the great team player, because it's not easy either. I think that's another really key point. What more we have here is the communication, right? The no BS rules, and what we just said about the thinking, not only strategically but grasping the big picture and looking into the future. And now the last part of the 4 things, we might have something more at the end, but the last part of the 4 things that I think we'd like to share with you is take care, really good care of testing the systems. When you give people what's working at the end, or whenever you deliver it, make additional tests. And I think that, well, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the testing part of the project is the most neglected part of each project that I've seen in my life, at least. Because
why?
because they just want to end.
No,
It's burdensome.
let me go back to your point, sorry to cut in here.
Yeah,
You're planning a methodology. A methodology never delivered anything because everyone's got a methodology. Doesn't matter what SI, they've all got a wonderful, really colorful methodology. It doesn't, you need people to deliver on
that's
that.
correct.
The communication, don't over communicate, don't under communicate, communicate the right thing amount. Don't bore people with one email a day about what we're doing. It means nothing to them because they can't touch or feel anything. They get an email, they get bored, right? Testing. You show me one business user who knows what a test scenario is, right? You've got to train them how to write a test scenario. And it's not even, you help them with a business test scenario. Yes, if you're returning to standard, you'll get the SAP standard scenario, but it has to be updated for your organization, whether it's, make to stock, make to order, whatever. What's that business workflow? So build that in early, how to understand what a test scenario is, what's the business workflow. Now we need to write the test scripts. And if you write a test script and I write a test script, and we're going to give it to, Matthias to execute it, like he sees two different test scripts, going to go, he's like, what the heck is that? What are they trying? If he doesn't understand the logic in the first place, what are we trying to achieve? I had a few years ago, I had a customer said, oh, why do you need 3 cycles of testing? I said, you know what? I'm not probably going to even justify that with an answer because there's 400 million lines of code in there in ECC. So yeah, well, if everything passes on the first cycle, we don't need to have the 2 other cycles. Brilliant. But with 400 million lines of code, what's the chances of that happening?
Yep.
And that particular system was full of Z code. So, it had to work with lots of other stuff. So test it, regression testing against the production system. But prepare your people, because every time the test starts, people are going, oh, well, what do I do? You need to write a test scenario. What the heck is one of those? Now you need to write a test script. What the heck is one of those? Now you need to execute those. Yes, you can get HP ALM or whatever it's called these days to automate a lot of the testing, but automated testing, does it really work? Is it Mr. Paul Byrne? Is it just because there's it's got a title, it's got a first name, it's got a last name, it's got an address in there. Is that the right address? Because the human can say, oh, well, I was dealing on Paul's account last week. He's no longer at that address, I know. And so in the system, and there's your data cleansing. People don't get the importance of the cleansing of the data, the enrichment of the data, because now in S/4HANA, you've got AC.A. They've combined a bunch of tables. You've also got business partner rather than customer and vendor masters. Yeah. They're combined. You've got mat.a and materials side of things. There's and you think now that's reduced the number of tables in S4. No, there are actually more tables in S4. Point I want to go back to here is the business maturity for change. Everyone's talking about the intellectual enterprise, the intelligent enterprise, the industry 4.0. Find out where your organization is at today. I don't want you to advertise it, but if you're at industry 1.0, getting to industry 4.0 is impossible. How do you say industry 4.1? I say industry 1 is like putting on a steam train, you're putting coal into the engine on a steam train. But if Peter, if you, me, and Matthias are standing in the cab of a steam train, 3 of us cannot shovel coal into the engine. It's not going to go faster because there's not physically enough space.
That's correct.
So how do you get into Industry 4.0? Go to the capability and the capacity of your business. Industry 4.0 is everything, everywhere, all of the time, kind of like that movie a couple of years ago, right? But if you have that massive jump, maybe the jump is too big to get to. Get to the best you can do for now, not world class, not best in class, as good as, and then move into a continuous improvement phase.
That's correct. That's right. That's right. Okay, guys, and it's good we scheduled this for 1 hour. I knew from the beginning we couldn't fit it in 30 minutes. um, and I could probably stay here for a couple of hours more. But guys, please write any questions you might have before we go to the closure. Unless Paul, do you want to just, share some more tricks or some more
I'll
good
give you
advice?
I'll give you the key here, right? People start a program and they start running. But you really got to start walking. Don't start running. If you go to do a park run this weekend and you've never run for the last 5 years, you'll hurt yourself, right?
That's correct.
So do a phase zero. Phase zero will check out. It starts with your vision, your strategy, your target operating model. You're not even talking about SAP at that stage. That's because would you do your target operating model, then you're looking at which version of SAP or which ERP is the best for your organization, which is fitting you. Now, all our experience at Dragon-ERP is with SAP, but we have told customers that SAP doesn't suit you right now as an organization because you've downsized since you had something before. It's a beast for you. Do you still want it? Yes, but that's where rip and replace doesn't work, because if the amount of change involved and changing from it to nothing wrong with Oracle. Oracle is a fantastic ERP suite. So is Infor, so is QAD, so is lots and lots of other ones. They don't make you money. They control your organization. So it's all about getting the best product. And if that best product is business by design or business one or S/4HANA public cloud or private cloud or CDC or sovereign cloud, which one is, or on-premise, which is the best for you? So you get a vision, strategy, target operating model. Now you start looking at the best system that suits you. Is cloud the best thing? Yeah, SAP want to push us all into the cloud, but is cloud the best thing? Is it? It's definitely not the cheapest.
That's right.
Back to you there, Peter. We probably, if we're talking again, like the phase zero, here's the thing about the phase zero. We set you up to succeed. Guess what? You will succeed. But if you start to run and start straight into requirements gathering and someone's squeezing your time from the requirements gathering phase, oh no, you only need a week for that. Guess what's going to happen down the line? Someone's going to come with new requirements. And as you're going into test, so now the couple of, €1,000 or maybe 100,000 euros you saved by a couple of reducing the requirements gathering phase or understanding the business early on, you're going to pay for it later and you're going to pay double. And then nothing against the SI, but they're going to bring more people in to do it. Think about your data. Think about your testing. Oh, hang on, we forgot about reporting. Don't think about it at the last minute. Think about your third-party integration, your EDI, your other systems that's what your third-party logistics providers. Think about the other systems in your organization that you've got to integrate with, and choose the best product that suits your organization that will do it for you. You may have another product, Micro Focus, Boomi, Integration Suite, whatever. It's just three I just picked.
Yep, absolutely. Thank you for all that. Just to recap, as Alexander asking here, I think that the 4 points would be maybe let's rephrase them a little bit, but the phase zero, which Paul just mentioned, would be the first point. because you need to plan, you need to prepare, you need to have everything you need and ask uncomfortable questions and give the uncomfortable truths. Of course, don't get fired, but I think that tell the customer what needs to be said rather than what he wants to hear. Um, get your people together, build a good team, look after your team. That's very important. The communication we had, um, test, prepare for testing, and remember everything is based on the people you have. Paul, do you want to add anything more to the recap?
That's perfect. Remember, a methodology didn't deliver anything. I didn't see who said it in the question, but keep it simple, right? Your program manager, your program director should be protecting your people, putting them almost into a bubble so they can get on with delivering the magic. Phase zero, your plan, the best plan goes to pot at first contact with the enemy. Now, I swapped that quote around a little bit. So the best plan goes to pot at the first contact with reality. So you can have a perfect plan that will work out. Something will come in, a risk will come up, an issue will come up, some system that nobody knew about that did the invoicing or the printing, or you were using dot matrix printers, and now S4HANA can only deal, and I don't know this, I'm only guessing, it can only deal with laser printers. I'm please, I made that up but as an example. And in the warehouse has got 20 dot matrix printers because they needed it in triplicate, right? Uh, that because someone forgot to tell you something along the line. That's where you need to be able to adapt and build in your contingency, so you can set you up to be successful. Guess what? You will be successful.
That's right. That's right. So to close up the webinar, first of all, thank you, guys, everyone who came. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Paul, for all your wisdom and sharing your experience also. Guys, we want to give you a little gift for your companies, or if you know anyone that could be served by us. If you want any strategic session for everyone that in this webinar, or if you bring us anyone, like if you bring us anyone, that's even better for you because we can make a deal, no? But there will be a free strategic session either with Paul or with me for a business to check what you need, to check how we could help. If you're a consultant, also let's keep in touch. There's many of things to do, both at Fastlane Consulting and Dragon-ERP. You never know when or where you can find your next best team. And that would be pretty all from my side. Paul, do you want to add anything?
The free consultation, non-committal consultation. If you want an NDA in place, no problem. Nobody's going to sell you anything. We'll talk you through this. They say, here's what you need to do to set yourself up. The worst thing your organization can do is say, hey, Matches, I want you to be a project manager on this new S4HANA implementation. And Matches, sorry, not to pick on you there, sir, doesn't even know what this, can't even spell SAP, but it's going to look good on your CV. 6 months down the line, Matches' CV is in the trash. His career is destroyed because it wasn't set up to be successful at the start.
Yep, that's correct.
So free consultation, an hour's consultation. I love talking to people, love helping. But in fact, if I know I've been able to help your organization, that's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
That's right. Thank you very much. I see people are writing, so let's we'll let you finish writing. I would really appreciate, I want to really appreciate your time, you being here. As Paul says, free consultations, use it. It's very good for everyone to get new knowledge, new connections. Also, you can meet us on LinkedIn. Most of you probably follow me already. If you don't, I will share. Maybe where do I have it? Oh, Paul, do you have your profile handy?
Look, yeah, I'm the easiest guy to be found. Paul Byrne, Dragon-ERP. Look us up
Okay,
on LinkedIn.
I got you. I got you. Okay. Here's the link to Paul's profile also. Get connected to him. He's great. He shares a lot of interesting and very insightful things. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. Thank you, Paul. And let's keep in touch, everyone.
For sure. Thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.